today is day 14 post hardware removal, and I've upped the rehab a little bit more. So doing some step ups because I cannot get up a normal step with my left leg. It is so weak. So I'm just starting with a very little step here, getting some glute activation. It is a bit sore just here, which is where the wound is, and obviously still got swelling there and around the bursa, but it's not bad sore, it's just sort of still in recovery sore. So I'm confident that if I don't push it too much and just keep it sensible, that I'm on the right track. I'm very excited to be able to finally use my reformer. So I haven't been able to do any leg exercises on this with my left leg up until now because of the screws. Oh, I could do calf raises, that was it. So just got it on a light resistance, and I'm just gently doing some little leg presses to begin with. So these are pretty good bang for the buck. They get quads, hamstring, glute, not a lot of hamstring, but a little bit of hamstring, mostly quads and glute, but also just the way the reformer is designed, you do use your core muscles as well, and I'm also using a little bit of my calf here. So yeah, quite a functional exercise as well. So definitely this one's going to help me to get up the steps as well. And it's just fun to be able to use my new toy. So I'm also doing a side lying push out with my top leg, and pretty similar to the step up. It just sort of biases the glutes a little bit more, which, yeah, I guess, well, I'm aiming for glutes and quads really, but I want to just make sure I'm getting everything. And because I'm keeping my knee level with my ankle, so I'm sort of in hip external rotation, which, as I mentioned before, been a problem one for me, so that's good to go through a strength movement in that position. And so far, I mean, I have a little bit of, like, I'm definitely weak and a little mild soreness, but really I'm really impressed with how well I'm coping. Very happy days. So now I'm also going to do hands and knees on here, and then the foot back. I never can remember the names of all these exercises, but anyway, this one gets the glutes predominantly, and whoa, that is way too heavy. I'm going to take a big spring off that. Yeah, really biases the glutes, this one. Sort of glute max and glute med particularly. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm only doing about 10 reps, and I'm sort of being pretty slow and controlled. But I will go around and do this circuit again. Keeping the weight fairly light, but it's light, but it's also doesn't feel super light on my left leg that is so weak and deconditioned currently, but I think I'm just striking the right balance of enough to stimulate it and activate the muscles, and not too much to overly fatigue it and get I don't want to get compensatory patterns from other muscles. If I do too much or too heavy an exercise for what I'm ready for, then my nervous system will subconsciously just respond by making other muscles and systems do the movement for me or assist with the movement, and that's not what you want. So I want the right muscles working, so just going to start with light weights that I can tolerate and build up from there. I'm going to do some calf raises now, single leg. It's really nice to be able to do some single leg exercises because previously, until these screws were removed, I was too sore to stand on my left leg, single leg, and the weight would just cause the plate and screws to just like dig right in and it would grab on all my muscles. It was really unpleasant. But now I can without pain, so I'm trying to do some heel raises, but I'm also very weak on this, and I think that's partially a hangover from the sciatic nerve debridement. There's still a bit of inflammation there, but I have noticed it's getting better each day. Initially I couldn't go up on my calf at all because the calf was so weak, so I'm going to do some on each leg. So this one gets the gastrocnemius, which is the big calf muscle with the two heads that you see when you see a bit there and a bit there. So also I need to make sure I do some work for soleus, which is the calf muscle beneath the gastrocnemius, and this one you get more in a bent knee position, and it's really important for running and the gait cycle, and often commonly overlooked. Seated calf raises are great for it. I don't have a seated heel raise machine here, so another way you can do it at home is sort of in a squat and then going up like that. Previously it's another one I hadn't been able to do because of the plate. I was just too sore, and now I am finding, even now doing this, that because I'm weak through my quads and my glute, I'm definitely getting the shakes in here from this, so all a work in progress. I will show another way you can do this. I'm going to do it on my reformer. So it's very similar. You could do this on a leg press machine at the gym, but basically keeping the knee bent and then going up and down on the toes. Again, limiting factor is more my quad strength than my calf strength. But got to work with what I've got. This is an exercise that my hip physio gave me. I work with a really great physio who specialises in hip dysplasia, and he's been excellent. He's really guided a lot of my rehab, the sort of specific hip stuff, specific to hip dysplasia, and this is one he gave me for external rotation, and it's sort of biased to a running stance. I am finding this a bit sore though, actually, as I'm doing it, so I think I'm just going to leave that there for now and probably come back to it in a few more days. You don't know until you try. Pleased to say that I'm now up to 4 kilos on my single leg knee extension. So doubled it in one day, but still very light. My quads are shaking, and that's also because of the other exercises I've done leading into this, but it's definitely manageable. I'm not pushing them too hard. They're more shaking in the eccentric phase, which is where I'm particularly weak. So I'm comfortable that I'm not pushing them too much and it's within my capacity. So I'm going to probably try for 3 sets of 10 of this today, and I've lost count. Just wanted to say, while I'm doing some of my exercises, that it's a really common misconception that physios don't need to see physios for help with their issues. I get asked that a lot by people if I see a physio, or people jokingly say, oh well, at least you know a good physio. But whilst being a physio has massively helped with guiding my rehab and just me knowing within myself what's normal and what to do about niggles and various things like that, even just understanding my condition, I need, and so does everyone really, an objective perspective. It's really easy if you're looking at yourself, and also if you're looking at family, which is why generally you shouldn't treat your own family, to have a really biased view, and you sort of subconsciously you're very opinionated based on what you think is the cause or the issue, based on what you see in their life, but it's really hard to just remove all that bias and look objectively. So you really need an outside person, professional, to do that for you, and just to guide you in what's the best for you. Even just looking in at your technique and how you're doing things as well. It's really hard to look at your own technique. Even though you know what it should be, you can think you're doing it right, but someone looking at you might see that you're not at all. So it's been really, I've really needed to see a physio. I see a physio for my hip and I see a separate physio for my shoulder, and they've been invaluable. Combining that with my own knowledge has obviously really helped though. And I'm on to 4 kilo single leg hammy curls, which is pretty exciting. I topped out at, I think it was 7 kilos single leg before the removal of the plates, and I just couldn't get any higher than that. I've never had strong hamstrings, and that apparently, what I know, was to do with my hips, because the position of them was meaning that my hamstrings, I couldn't really access them, so they've always felt weak, and a bit tight as well. So not sure if the 7 kilos I got before the plate removal will just be what I get to, or if the inflammation from the plate and around the sciatic nerve potentially, quite possibly, was inhibiting the hamstrings a bit. So hopefully I might be able to get them a bit stronger, because strong hammies are really important and useful for running, which is my main sport. So yeah, I'll definitely be focusing on building them up as much as I can. It's also really good for injury prevention, helps with the knees and the hips, and the back. So gonna keep curling